If you're a gun owner in Laramie County, you need to watch this video if you're trying to figure out who is the pro-gun candidate in Senate District number 7. Hi guys, Aaron Dorr here with Wyoming Gun Owners. The August 16 primary is almost here. Early voting's already underway, and we're being asked by a large number of gun owners in the Cheyenne metro area, who is the pro-gun candidate between Rachel Bennett and incumbent state senator Stephan Pappas. We're going to break this race down for you and give you guys the actual facts that you need to make your own best informed decision on this race. Guys, as you know, we do this by combining the results of our candidate survey program, any votes that these guys or gals have in office if they're incumbents, like Senator Pappas, and their public statements made when it comes to our gun rights. You know, it's Wyoming, and it's a Republican Party primary, so naturally, everybody says they're pro-gun. The question you're asking us is, how do we know who we can trust? How do we know who's telling us the truth and who means it versus who's saying they're pro-gun just to fool me and get my support? Guys, to do that, WIGO has combed very carefully through the previous votes made by Senator Pappas because our candidate survey is very valuable information, but nothing beats prior votes on gun bills. And as you're about to find out, in the case of Stephan Pappas, he has voted against your gun rights time and time and time again, and we're going to prove it. But first, let's talk about Rachel Bennett. Rachel Bennett surveyed 100% pro-gun with Wyoming gun owners. Now, what that means is Rachel Bennett put her views in writing when it comes to her stance, her view on your gun rights. Again, lots of candidates can say they're pro-gun, but very few put their views in writing and sign the dotted line. She did. That means that Rachel Bennett is 100% opposed to red flag gun seizures. A lot of you guys know that a month ago in Washington, D.C., Joe Biden passed a massive federal gun control bill. Built inside of that bill was $750 million that the DOJ can use to bribe state legislatures like ours here in Cheyenne into passing red flag gun seizures. A large number of Rhino Republicans would love to pass red flags anyway here in Wyoming. They're only being held at bay right now by the members of WIGO. But if the DOJ shakes tens of millions of dollars in the face of our legislature, we could see a disaster on our hands as early as next January. Rachel Bennett's public stance opposing red flags couldn't be more timely. Rachel Bennett's also opposed to any attempt to ban AR-15s or 30-round magazines. Again, some Republicans these days across the country are backing this. She's also opposed to universal background checks. Now, you and I all know what this means. The only way to have a universal background check is to have effectually a state gun registry, a state gun owner database. WIGO is very much opposed to any form of that, as you can imagine, and so is Rachel Bennett. She's also opposed to fixed NICS. You guys may recall 2 years ago, Republican rhinos did their damnedest to pass fixed NICS mental health gun control here in Cheyenne. We stopped it, and then of course the best part, the members of Wyoming gun owners threw everybody who was pushing that bill on the curb and fired them in the primaries in 2020. But that bill is going to come back, and if it does, under Rachel Bennett's watch, she's promised to be opposed to it. We also should point out, though, that we're always looking to find fighters, right? We want to find people who will fight to advance our gun rights. And Rachel Bennett has a history of battling back against the good old boys club. There is certainly a good old boys club that runs roughshod over conservative pro-gun legislators here in Cheyenne. Rachel Bennett, as a former military officer with the National Guard, has a history of challenging that good old boys club as well. Rachel Bennett has made statewide news in the last couple of years for challenging and sounding the alarm on a whole history of sexual harassment allegations and situations taking place in the National Guard. A lot of work has been done to remedy remedy the issues that she brought forth, legislation and that kind of thing. But Rachel Bennett, through all of this, has proven herself to be a fighter in this regard, and we believe that her survey indicates she'll be a fighter for the Second Amendment as well. That's Rachel Bennett. But now we've got Stephan Pappas. Now, this is the kind of stuff that he hopes you never find out about, because Pappas walks around telling everybody that he's pro-gun, but it's all a lie. And we're going to prove it. Going back for years now, Senator Pappas has voted against your gun rights time and time and time again. We're going to start with Stand Your Ground law. You guys all remember this perhaps. Why go past Stand Your Ground law in 2018? It should have been done years before that. There's no reason why. Wyoming is one of the last states in the country to have Stand Your Ground law, but we got it done in 2018. Senate File 71 was the Senate version of Stand Your Ground law. We were this close to finishing that fight. This is a budget session. This is a short 20-day session. We were this close to finishing the fight in the Senate when Senator Pappas voted for a kill amendment that was designed to destroy Stand Your Ground law. The amendment was filed by Senator Perkins, but everybody in the Capitol knew this was a kill amendment. It was designed to either tank the entire bill or weaken it so severely that it effectually would be dead. That's exactly what happened. After Senator Pappas' support for this amendment, Stand Your Ground law became a terrible draft in the Senate. Thankfully, we had a House version of the same bill moving. That bill did end up becoming law, and Stand Your Ground law did pass in 2018. But when we needed him, Stephan Pappas did everything he could to kill Stand Your Ground law here in Wyoming. The bill number, Senate File 71, the amendment was voted on February 27, 2018. Even at the time here for you, 12:33 p.m. Amendment number 2, I believe, on the bill. You can look it up for yourself and verify what we're saying. But that wasn't the only time. After that fight was over in 2018, WIGO moved on to our attempts to rid the state of our remaining gun-free zones. Everybody knows what a gun-free zone is, right? It's a blinking red light telegraphing to would-be mass murderers that this is a place you can attack. This is a place where the good guys are disarmed because of stupid politicians, and if you want to get a body count, this is the kind of place to go to. WIGO's been working for years to get rid of these. We came very close again on that in 2019 and 2020. Two separate bills. Senate File 75, that was in 2019. Senate File 88, that was in 2020. Both times, Senator Pappas voted with the radical Democrats and the rhino backstabbing Republicans. Folks, he voted against the bill on the floor. He voted to mandate the continuation of deadly gun-free zones here in Wyoming. The dates on these for Senate File 75, January 25, 2019. Senate File 88, that vote was on February 12, 2020. So 2 times in a row, when we needed him to help fight for gun rights, Pappas screwed gun owners over and voted for gun control. That wasn't it, though. 2021, just last year. And let's kind of pause here and paint the picture. We've got Joe Biden installed in the White House. We have more federal gun control being filed in a week than we'd had in 6 months prior to that. We have executive orders being drafted every other day attacking our gun rights. We had the UN Small Arms Treaty back in the news. It was a full court press. Here in Wyoming, to protect our gun rights, WIGO worked on the Second Amendment Preservation Act. And you guys, I think, know what SAPA means. It simply says that this is our state. And so, while we can't stop the feds from enforcing their own laws with federal authority and federal agents here in Wyoming, we can, by God, deny the federal government the help of our troopers, our deputies, our city cops. SAPA law denies the federal government the manpower they hope to use to enforce federal unconstitutional gun control laws. It's patterned after the law that our sister organization passed in Missouri in 2021, and it would have done all we needed to have done to protect our gun rights. If an agency violated SAPA law, our legislation would allow the citizens to take that agency into civil court for damages. This is phenomenally well-written legislation that we desperately had to pass, and when we needed it the most, Senator Pappas again voted no on the Second Amendment Preservation Act. This is 2021, Senate File 87, and the date on that, let's see here, I don't have that date handy, but it's Senate File 87 in the 2021 session. And that brings us up to what happened this last session. The same thing happened again. Senator Pappas voted no on the SAPA legislation that we brought forward. And then, because he's so afraid of gun owners in Laramie County, he worked with the rhino leaders here in Cheyenne to introduce a fake version of SAPA. You're probably aware of this whole situation. They took out all of the enforcement. They took out all of the teeth. They left it wide open for the feds to take our cops through a federal task force, and they gutted the entire purpose of SAPA legislation. Much like Senator Pappas tried to gut Stand Your Ground law in 2018. So they gutted the bill. They passed the final gutted version into law for one reason only: for Senator Pappas and other rhinos like him to walk around right now at election time and say, I voted for the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Folks, the entire thing is a lie. You see how this backroom dealing works? It always happens behind closed doors with amendments. The public can rarely see what's going on. And Senator Pappas is thinking to himself, gun owners are too stupid to know what's going on. They're not going to follow this. They're not going to track this, and I can get away with voting against our gun rights right here in Wyoming. But Senator Pappas wasn't counting on Wyoming gun owners. So guys, if you live in Laramie County, if you live in District 7, make sure every gun owner here knows that Senator Pappas voted to kill Stand Your Ground law. He voted against repealing gun-free zones, voted to mandate their continuation not once, but twice. And he voted no on the Second Amendment Preservation Act when we needed it the most. Guys, if you bump into Senator Pappas between now and Election Day, ask him to explain himself. And when he says, oh, I'm pro-gun, say that's BS. I know the truth. I know how you voted. I have the dates. I have the times. We want to know if you're going to apologize for those votes. That's the question you want to ask Senator Pappas. And if you see Rachel Bennett, be sure to thank her as well for her strong support for our gun rights and for unashamedly signing her WIGO candidate survey and putting her views in writing. Folks, again, do us a favor, share this video on social media, share it by email, make sure everyone knows where these candidates stand. And to join our fight today, guys, go to www.joinwygo.com.